One take Friday because we're almost home. We slept just north of Headley. If you guys go Google Map it, it's not going to say it's going to take me an hour and a half to drive from there to Penticton, so. But that's what it's going to take me, an hour and a half to drive from Headley to Penticton. It's a beautiful morning. It's going to be a hot day. And every now and then I get asked why semis drive so slow. First thing, we have to slow down for the corners. We're so tall and heavy. If we don't slow down for corners, we're going to roll over. And we're heavy. Climbing the hill like this, we're always way below the speed limit. Right now I weigh just over 62,000 kilograms. Between 62 and 63,000. We are just north of Ollala, headed to Penticton on Highway 3A. Basically smack dab between Penticton and Karamias. I guess that'd be closer to Twin Lakes. We're headed up to Yellow Lake right now. It's just a big climb to get there. But it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Sun is out. We'll be home early on Friday. Yeah, so I have currently 7 hours and 46 minutes of drive time left. Shift time left, period. That's all I can work today. So we could get to Nelson today. By the time we're unloaded, we would probably have an hour. We couldn't even get this other load on. We were just so short on hours, we could not get reloaded. So we're headed home. And why are we so short on hours? Because we left on Sunday, like at noon, and every day we had full shift hours. Very often, if we leave Sunday, we have a run here and there where it's like, oh, I got to my customer and I still have an hour of drive time left or 2 hours of drive time left. You make up time so you still have hours to drive on Friday, because you have a total of 70 hours you can drive in 1 week before you legally have to stop for 36 hours. Reset that 70. Having said that, if you drove only 10 hours a day, you can drive right through. You could drive right through the weekend. You wouldn't need a reset. Those are Canadian hours of service. Actually, southern Canadian hours of service. If you get into the north latitudes, you have more hours. If you get into the US, you have a lot less hours. I'm always impressed every time we go up a hill that I used to go up with the International. For a load this heavy, we're going a good pace. Always impressed with how quick we can go up these hills with this truck. Very happy with this truck and the Cummins 565 horses. Very impressed. Makes a difference. We're gonna get blinded now. Oh, the dashboard lights from yesterday night. Apparently it's a known issue. It's not a fuse, it's not a light bulb. It's just a computer coding issue. Apparently all you have to do is pull over, turn your lights off, turn the engine off, and restart the engine, and your lights work. In that order. If you turn the engine off and then your lights off, it won't make a difference, but you have to turn your lights off, then your engine off, restart, and all the lights come back on. Just a computer programming error. Apparently, Peterbilts have done that for years. Bright sun there. Glad I went narrow angle for this, or else you guys would be staring straight into the sun like I am. Almost up to Yellow Lake. Let's go kayaking. Let's go kayaking. I'd be tempted to throw the kayaks on the back of the truck if I didn't reset at home very often. Kayaks and a bike on the back. That would make us stop at every single watercraft inspection station as well, which would be obnoxious, but
I don't think we would ever get to Jasper, man. We'd just be like, we're taking the day off.
Jess said we'd never make it through Jasper or Banff. It's like, taking the day off, we're going kayaking. That might hurt the payday if I had kayaks on the back. And here's Yellow Lake. I swear it's right here. It's right here. We actually have 3 geocaches placed here. One over here by this end, by this rest area. One in the middle of the lake on the other side of the lake. No, there's no real way of getting there other than on kayak or walking across the ice in the winter. Oh yeah, a lot of algae in there. And then another geocache on the other end as well.
It's so green right now.
It looks very green right now. It's like a really interesting green. lot of algae growing in here right now. Is it algae or algae? I've always said algae. So I'll stick with algae even if it's wrong. I guess the important thing is it doesn't really matter how people pronounce things as long as you understood what they meant. That's the important part about language. It doesn't matter if people get it wrong as long as you understand what the word meant. In that case, they're successfully communicating. So if you're in the habit of correcting people in a casual conversation, it hurts their feelings. Perhaps don't do that. Jess is patting me on the back. It's okay. Now, if we're in a professional setting and or it's a language class or something like that, yeah, let's get the language right. But in a casual conversation, perhaps let things go a bit. Where's he going? Oh yeah, yep, that'd be a good guess. Warehouser in Princeton. Always fun curving roads. Approaching Twin Lakes. We get to see the end of the golf course sticking out here, but Twin Lakes, the lakes usually get almost dried out by the end of summer because the golf course uses so much water to irrigate their course. I wish we could make it socially acceptable to only irrigate the actual green where you'll be golfing. The rest of it, leave it brown. It would actually make it a beautiful deserty feel to it. You could make that as a feature. Right now they just have these funny patches all over the place because they try irrigating all of it. It used to be green everywhere, and then they put limitations in because the lake dried all the way up. A little bit stormy that way. Grab a couple of gears. Long hill, so I didn't take a low enough gear to make it all the way to the bottom without using the brakes. So I am dragging the brakes down this hill, but it's not a long enough hill where you're going to overheat your brakes if you drag it at 5 psi brake pressure. But you have to know that before you get into the hill. You don't know what kind of hill you're going into. I've seen guys come down full speed down Anarchist and their brakes are just smoking away. The bigger passes, they come flying down. It's like, No, 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 no. You can do that on these small hills. Now I only drag the brakes in the top little part because I'm shifting up as I go down. And I hit 100 at the bottom. Yeah, that looks stormy that way. Hopefully that's moving away from us.
Isn't it the darkness?
Most of the time the weather patterns here are always from west to east, so hopefully if it's a normal weather pattern, it's flowing away from, or going away from us, drifting away from us. It's almost like flowing in the sky. It usually goes northeast is usually the flow of our weather, but it can be other things. It can go other directions, but most of the time that's the way I feel it goes.
You get a lot more rain south of North Penticton.
Yes, and the way the mountains are shaped, you get a lot more rain just south of Penticton. Ollala get a lot less as well, and also a lot more rain north of Penticton. Like Kelowna gets a lot more rain than Penticton. Ollala gets a lot less rain than Penticton, but the way the mountains are shaped, you can literally see a rainstorm coming into Penticton. It'll stop raining and then continue raining on the other side. It's an interesting phenomenon. I get why it does that scientifically. As the clouds lower down into the valley, the clouds warm up and stay as vapor form. And then when they get pushed back up over the valley on the other side, they cool off as they go higher and resume their rain. Let's grab one more gear. It says no. I say yes. Let's use a little brake. Call these Jess's corners. She always giggles going through these corners. Not when we're in a semi.
No.
Because we have to slow down. Let's go to manual mode. I don't want you to shift anymore. But when we're in our personal vehicle, I take these corners at full 80 kilometers per hour. Yes, the one that says 40 here, I take it at 80 kilometers per hour. Don't do that unless you know this corner. And you get the tickly stomach feeling as you get the side G forces, and the fact that you're in the corner for such a long time, it's this steady side G forces that kind of tickle the stomach. Almost to Highway 97. Now it'll be fun trying to get onto that highway this time of day. It's gone. 8:19. Everybody that's going to work at 9. It might be difficult getting onto the highway. Maybe we'll luck out. Likely the scale's going to be open too. We'll see how long we have to sit at the intersection before we can get on. if I can get on, I'll just pull right in the scale, even if it's open or even if it's closed, just to get out of the way of the vehicles, and then we don't have to worry about one direction of vehicles, unless there's nobody coming up behind us right away. Then we'll just stay on the highway. Because this intersection pretty much forces you to cut people off. Even though you can't see any traffic to the left or the right, you're like, okay, 100% clear. You go. By the time you're on the road, everybody's hitting their brakes, stopping for you because both ways are blind.
900 meters, keep left on Highway 3A, then turn left.
Behind us is went right, and they're gonna go right and take the alternate way of getting onto this highway because they know it's gonna take me a while to get on, so they're gonna cheat and make it even harder for me to get on the highway. There they go. I'm going. I see no vehicles. Oh, there comes a vehicle, but I've already committed.
Continue on Highway 97.
Still nobody behind us. Yeah, you're right. The traffic's light. Even though we still cut someone off. That's the problem with it. It's like 100% clear, I'm going, you commit, and then here come cars. Finally getting cars behind us now. By the time we get to Penticton, there'll be a line longer than I can see behind us. Yeah, it's definitely getting drier now. Everything's going golden here. It's definitely now in forest fire danger. If anyone drops a cigarette or drives a quad in tall grass, it's the time that you have to be super careful for forest fires. Yeah, you're starting to get small forest fires popping up. It's been a really wet spring, so we've been really fortunate there that we haven't had any forest fires yet, and no big ones yet. Worries me when I'm beside a bike like that. I've got such a misshapen load on this one. It makes some really weird wind vortexes because when it's a nice square load, the wind goes over you nice and smooth, but when it's a funny bumpy load like this, it makes some really weird airflows, and it can suck a bike right into the side of you. Especially these guys, they run on the white line because legally we can. Legally they could drive on the road. But if I was a biker, I would be closer to the shoulder.
Not the biker, I'd be on the KBR trail.
True. If I was a biker, I'd be down on the bottom by the lake along the KVR trail.
That's what I think.
Home sweet home. I remember how beautiful these cliffs and ocean lake. Wow, ocean upgraded. We have upgraded. How beautiful this was the first time coming through, just kind of like your jaw drops. But now it's like I barely even notice. But I try to actually look and pay attention and go, yes, I live in a very beautiful place. Sure, I pay incredible high rate for my rent to live here, but yeah. Is it worth it? No mosquitoes in a place like this? Yeah, I think it's worth it. I'm in no rush to move. I would, if I had enough money, I would purchase a home, but it would not be in this town. Might still be in the Okanagan Valley. I'm not saying it wouldn't be Okanagan Valley, but not in Penticton, just too expensive. Some of the smaller towns along the valley are still have cheaper housing, or even just a little out of the valley. There's a lot cheaper housing. Yes, this usually irritates most of the cars behind us, but I am staying in the left lane as it splits here. Why? Because I want to make a left-hand turn at the second red light, and good luck merging into that lane if you have 100 cars behind you all packing into that lane. If you're in a personal vehicle, it's tricky merging there some days. Super B? Nope, not going to happen. You're going to be forced to go straight. Looks like someone smashed into that fence. I don't know how. You have to really square off this corner for the traffic on the inside. I wish they redesigned painted the lines a little differently, and that if you stayed on the right lane, you automatically ended up in the center lane here, and then you could decide which, if you wanted to go straight or turn. I think that'd be a far better design for that corner. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed. See you next week.